Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video we're going to actually be doing the side-by-side comparison of the Switchblade and the Saug 9mm. And in case you missed my video ranking all the SMGs after the buff, there was a lot of debate in the comments section, even for myself included. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to take a little bit of a deeper dive and come to a consensus on which is the better SMG in the game. So if you like this side-by-side comparison, make sure you comment down below other comparisons you'd like to see. And obviously if you enjoy the content, make sure you do remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you'll be able to find your way back to the channel for those future comparisons. So the first thing we're going to want to look at is the base stats. And you can see the base stats on the left are for the Saug 9mm and the base stats for the Switchblade are on the right. So even though these are hardly ever accurate in Call of Duty, some of the talking points we'll use will reference these because it kind of gives you an idea of how those translate to in-game stats. I also thought it was important to look at the different attachments and how they're going to actually affect the weapon when you're in-game. So starting off with the Saug, if you decide to use a suppressor, you're going to be risking a little bit of range, which is going to actually increase your time to kill at certain distances. So even though I'm a fan of suppressors, unless you really know how to use a suppressor effectively, you're not going to get much out of that attachment. Overall, I feel like the Saug has manageable recoil. Grip is just that little bit of extra boost because there's not really many other attachments that are worth putting on this weapon. And when it comes to quick draw, it can actually be very effective in lowering that practical time to kill. And what I mean by that, if you're going to be able to aim down sight faster, you'll be able to get that first bullet off faster, which will actually decrease that time between you actually acquiring the target and firing that first bullet and eventually killing them. And stock doesn't really do much in terms of time to kill. You might make yourself a little bit harder target to hit, but in reality that's not helping you kill the other player faster. But don't take that as I'm saying that stock 1 and 2 are bad attachments by any means, because they are definitely a great way to solve half of the problem, which is getting shot. So now when we look at the Switchblade's attachments, you can see that it has quick draw 1 and 2, which are great for the same reasons I mentioned for the Saug. It has FMJ, which is very nice for countering anyone using body armor, because in case you didn't know, for most of the SMGs, if your enemy is wearing body armor and you don't have FMJ, it's going to take an additional 1 to 2 shots to kill depending on the range. And the other great part about FMJ is you get additional bullet penetration, so you'll be able to shoot through walls a little bit easier, which the Saug fails in this category. Then it has these two crazy attachments called Rapid Fire 1 and Rapid Fire 2, which will increase that rate of fire and lower that time to kill. And although personally I don't think it's really necessary, grip is available so you can increase that accuracy. Obviously if you're on the lower end when it comes to gun skill, it's a little bit harder for you to manage recoil. Grip is probably going to be your best friend. And if you don't feel like you're getting enough strafing speed, it does have stock available as well. So taking all those different factors into consideration and seeing which attachments will actually help you and which ones you'll need for a best class setup, let's go ahead and cross out the ones that maybe you probably shouldn't include in your best class setup. Keep in mind that I know that I left off hybrid mags, fast mags on either of the weapons. That's not really the point of this particular breakdown. It's more to focus on that time to kill element and things that'll actually help you out. Right here I crossed off the suppressor on the Saug, and then when it comes to the rest of the attachments, you can go with grip based off your preference and how good your actual gun skill is. Quick draw is probably the only other option you can go with. You're kind of limited. There's not really much great when it comes to the Saug because it's already decent as a base weapon. And then if you want that extra strafing speed, you can go with stock 1 or stock 1 and 2. So in terms of attachments for the Switchblade, you could go with that quick draw if you want that faster ADS speed, FMJ depending on the scenario, but the main go-tos for me is going to be Rapid Fire 1 and Rapid Fire 2. Grip, I don't think you really need, but if you don't have the gun skill to actually manage this weapon, or maybe you need a little bit of help, grip is a good way to go. And stock you don't really need for this particular weapon. So there's just a few things to consider as we jump into the different stats for these particular weapons. And I know initially it's going to look like a lot of numbers and probably pretty complicated, but let's go ahead and walk through it as simply as possible. And the main numbers we're going to want to focus on when it comes to the base Saug and the base Switchblade are these middle numbers and then the bottom numbers. So you can see right here on the left, the time to kill is affected by the number of shots to kill, and it is always going to take 6, 7, 8, or 9 shots to kill with the Saug. You can see the RPM is that 909 rounds per minute, and the bottom is that time to kill. The fastest time to kill with the Saug is 330 milliseconds, and it slows down all the way to the furthest distance of 528 milliseconds. And the base Switchblade, you can see that it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 shots to kill with an 840 RPM, and the time to kill is reflected on the bottom, 286 all the way up to 571. And that's like if you're using the weapon for the first time, you haven't unlocked any attachments, you're not using any attachments, those will be all the different data points you'll have to worry about. And what's unfortunate for the Saug is there's actually 0 attachments that will change any of those data points. It doesn't have rapid fire, high caliber, or long barrel, which are the 3 attachments that will actually improve your time to kill, because you're either going to have an increased range, increased damage, or increased rate of fire. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what happens when we equip Rapid Fire 1 to the Switchblade. It's going to have a boost to its fire rate, increasing that RPM to 909, which is the exact same as the Saug, but since it has better range, you're going to have a faster time to kill at 264 milliseconds all the way up to 528 milliseconds, which even at the slowest time to kill is equal to that of the Saug. So even by only using Rapid Fire 1, you're making your weapon equal to or better than the Saug. But unfortunately, since the Rapid Fire attachment is banned in competitive play, you'll never see that in league play, you'll never see it in competitive scene, and in general, you're just not going to see it anywhere but pubs. So if it wasn't cool enough that it already has Rapid Fire 1, when you equip Rapid Fire 2, it's going to raise that RPM to 954, which will lower your time to kill to 252 milliseconds, all the way up to 503. And you can see for all those various ranges, you're going to have a faster time to kill with the Switchblade. And I know there's some people that are a little bit more visual. I actually decided to graph these different results so you can see how it works at the various ranges. On the left is the time to kill, and on the bottom will be the various distance in meters. And the three different lines we'll be looking at are the top one being the Saug, the second being the Switchblade, then with Rapid Fire, and then with Rapid Fire 2. And looking at the graph, you can see the only place that the Saug competes is right around 10 meters. Before 10 meters, the Switchblade is faster in pretty much every way, and then above 10 meters, the Switchblade is faster in every possible way. So because of all this different data that we've looked at, I put the Switchblade head and shoulders above the Saug. And I think, to be honest, the only people that will actually prefer the Saug over the Switchblade is people who just play comp, people who like to abuse double stock, which was recently nerfed, or people that just struggle with that recoil management because the Switchblade definitely has more recoil than the Saug. So two different class setups I like to run when I run these weapons are for the Saug, I'm going to run that quick draw, I'm going to run the grip, and I'm going to run stock. You see, for the perks, I have Scavenger, Gung Ho, Dexterity, and I run that Stim Shot. And Stim Shot is something I typically run when I'm using an SMG. And my favorite attachments for the Switchblade are going to be that Elo sight with Rapid Fire 1, Rapid Fire 2, Hybrid Mags. And for the perks, I run Scavenger, Gung Ho, and Dead Silence, but you could easily drop Dead Silence in the Elo sight for Grip, Quick Draw, or Dexterity. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Go ahead and leave your feedback on the video, and then also let me know if there's another weapon comparison you'd like to see. Also, if you enjoyed the video in any way, please remember to hit that like button. Let's see if we can get this video over 1,000 likes. And if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on so you'll be able to find your way back to the channel. Do appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.